The South African Red Cross Society is one of the groups on the ground helping those affected by these floods. We're joined by the KwaZulu-Natal Regional Manager, Siyabonga Hlatshwayo. Siyabonga, a very good evening to you and thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening to you and viewers at home, and thank you for having us.
Siyabonga, again, we're seeing these stories of floods over and over. I mean, now we're talking about 50 people who have been killed since the start of the rainy season. What is being done at the moment, I guess, to try and help those that have been affected?
Currently, the teams are still on the ground conducting assessments. We joined the disaster management teams that are conducting assessments on the ground, and many people that are affected have been offered temporary relief, and we are continuing to conduct assessments. But there were challenges of accessing certain communities, as the roads are also very damaged and there's still quite a lot of mud on the road, so we couldn't access some of the communities. So the situation is quite worrying as we are seeing the pictures, and we are still going to be expanding and visiting more communities.
And I can imagine the fact that the rain is still pouring, albeit irregularly, affects the assistance that you're trying to offer to those that have been affected.
Yes, it's quite worrying because when you look at the South African Weather Services predictions that we are still going to be receiving even more rain, so it's still worrying even for some people that are still in the communities. People that were seeing their neighbors being affected, they are also worried since the rain is coming back that they could be next on the line, and also people that whose houses were totally damaged, having to move to neighbors and still waiting for relief. It's quite worrying in the communities.
What sort of assistance are you offering? I mean, is it just a question of trying to offer a place to stay, a dry place, a safe place? But maybe elaborate a little bit as to what sort of assistance are you offering, particularly to those that have been affected?
It's temporary relief, looking at the blankets, mattresses, hygiene packs, clothing, as well as those that maybe with partially damaged houses. You even offer them items that, like the kitchen sets, that they can be using even with to prepare food, as we are also offering food parcels as well. Also on standby, we have teams that can offer psychosocial support to those that are affected. We have another program that we call Restoration of Family Links, where we are ensuring that families or people are able to communicate with their loved ones, informing them that actually where they are safe. If they need help, they are able to reach out to their loved ones or family members. We further also looking into mobilizing more resources. We have mobile kitchens that are available, which we can locate anywhere, especially if maybe there are people that are going to be displaced, maybe moved to community halls. We can place them there. Meals can be prepared where they are. Our teams and volunteers are on standby as the assessments are continuing. We are ready and prepared to offer more support.
Siyabonga, do you have an idea as to how many people you are assisting, or is the number growing as we hear more of these reports coming through? And as we mentioned, that these flash floods keep on going almost on a daily basis.
Yes, the numbers are growing every day. We were in Ladysmith, where we've been there since, like, during most of the festive season. We've been there, and now we are back in Durban, of which, as we were in Ladysmith, we were all thinking that, okay, it could be next, it could be Durban, because Durban in most cases is always affected. So the numbers are growing every day, and we are still anticipating that the numbers are still going to grow. We are seeing pictures of areas that we have not reached to, and areas that we were not able to access. We are seeing the damage, and the numbers are still going to be growing. Like today, we were able to see like 40 families. So tomorrow, possibilities are that we'll be able to access certain communities, and the numbers will be growing.
You spoke about just supplying groceries and maybe a safe space and so on. I mean, do you feel that at this point, as the SA Red Cross Society in KwaZulu-Natal, you have enough equipment, enough to assist, or are you still looking at more assistance elsewhere?
We have worked on ensuring that we do have resources and equipment in terms of we do have even evacuation like temporary tents where people can be evacuated to. We have mobile kitchens, we have mobile toilets, because our vision is that one day we are looking into being that effective that we are able to provide that kind of support that is that government, while government is still busy preparing their own relief and response, we are able to provide, in fact, everything that could be needed by someone who is displaced and who has been affected by any kind of a disaster. But help can never be enough. We can always be appealing to the public to also come in and offer help. It could be their time. It could be with donations. We can always appreciate any kind of assistance.
You spoke about restoring family links. Just tell us a little bit about how that works. Is it just connecting those that are displaced with their families, or how does it work specifically?
Okay, the Restoration of Family Links is actually a program that falls under our international office, which is the International Committee of the Red Cross. It usually operates in areas where there are conflicts, where there's war and conflict. So our teams would be there ensuring that the people that mostly are not even involved in the war are able to be connected with their families. Families are able to reach out to our offices asking for us to trace people that are missing, and we would do that for them. Mostly here in South Africa, because we are not in conflict, we would offer services like we assist people in ensuring that their cell phones are charged, while maybe they are displaced, maybe in a community hall, their cell phones are charged. We give them airtime to phone their loved ones. We have cell phones that would place there. They'll be able to call their loved ones. If also they need us to trace people, we've got some tracing cards that will give them. They fill in the information, and then we start using our network of branches. We are tracing their loved ones. Even if they are abroad, we are able to trace them. That is our program, the Restoration of Family Links.
And maybe, Siyabonga, a bit of an unfair question to you, but I'm going to ask it nonetheless. What do you think can be done or should be done to avoid this? I mean, we talk about a natural disaster, which one could say cannot really be controlled. But is there a way maybe that we can minimize the damage?
Yes, it's possible. Mostly it's us people who are actually placed, or we place ourselves in the danger in most cases. It's us who expose ourselves mostly to being vulnerable to disasters. So if in a way we can plan and arrange better and avoid the disaster risky areas, identifying disaster risky areas, I think that can minimize the impact, because we only say we have a disaster once it has affected people, infrastructure, livestock, and we do not have capacity to respond at that particular time. That is when we would say we are having a disaster. So if we can be able to avoid those disaster risky areas, but also there is also an issue or a concern of behavioral change, because really people are also always exposing themselves to disasters. The other day we were discussing about, mostly every now and then we are seeing people trying to drive through flooded low-lying bridges. The next thing you are hearing, someone has been washed away by the flooding water, and we are losing lives through that. That is an individual taking actually a wrong decision at that particular time, because a car cannot drive through the water. So it's one of those things that that's also a challenge, behavioral change, because I think we also need to engage people better, educate people better. Even if there is a need, I think even law enforcement can also be involved as well.
In terms of the warning systems, I mean, if you look elsewhere in the world, you'll see that there is a warning for a tsunami, for a natural disaster of sorts. Do you feel that in South Africa, either do we have the systems that work, or do people even heed these calls when we are told that there is an orange or a yellow warning, high rainfall expected in certain areas?
I think in my own observation, it has been there. The warning system has been there. I think as we have been growing up from very young age, we've been knowing that South African Weather Service is always issuing warnings. And just as we are seeing more and more disasters, it has got to a point now where people are receiving WhatsApp messages. It's distributed. It's well distributed. I think people get well informed and they do get the information. It's just a matter of sometimes the behavioral change. And sometimes it's also an issue of sometimes not knowing what to do, because it also goes hand in hand. Just as you are getting information, you also must be able to know what to do. If we get flooded, what do we do from there? So I think the issues are just there, that people are not really utilizing the information. But I think there is an improvement in terms of distribution of information.
Just finally then, Siyabonga, you spoke about there's always help can never be enough in terms of assistance for South Africans in the KwaZulu-Natal area who would want to help in one way or the other. When, how do they get in touch with the Red Cross Society in KwaZulu-Natal?
Okay. In KwaZulu-Natal, we do have 7 branches and a provincial office. Our contact numbers are 031 563 2914. That is the Red Cross Society provincial office. We have branches in most districts in KwaZulu-Natal. You can always visit on our website. We are there, and you can also always visit our offices.
Right, Siyabonga, thank you so much for coming through. Siyabonga Hlatshwayo just talking to us there about some sort of assistance that they are offering